in paradise, and you go to bed thinking everything will be alright. But then you wake up, and you're under attack, and life as you know it is over. The U.S. knows a lot about Pearl Harbor, and we talk about it briefly in school, but I wanted to research more about it. The surprise attack on Pearl Harbor was the turning point of World War II, and it is still significant to us today. The events that led up to the attack on Pearl Harbor are important because of Germany's involvement. Before World War II started, Japan and Germany became ever so friendly with each other. Paraphrasing from the article, Germany and Pearl Harbor by H.L. Trefusé, the Japanese wanted an agreement with the U.S., and when that purpose failed, they attacked. Between Japan and Germany, they were very friendly with each other, and one of the reasons for that was because Germany wanted to get closer with Japan so they could find a counterweight to the U.S. Von Ribbentrop, who is a German diplomat and politician, wanted to get closer to Japan to keep the U.S. out of war. They used a proposed pact called the Tripartite Pact, and it was to keep the U.S. out of war and to keep an alliance between Italy, Germany, and Japan. On December 4th, 3 days prior to the attack, Japan was no longer willing to wait for their reply because Japan sent Germany a message saying they wanted to attack the U.S. and they didn't respond right away. An official of the Japanese Foreign Office said that Japan considered the Tripartite Pact to be applicable to any conflict between one of the signatories and the U.S. with the exception of a direct attack on American continent, but he still thought that it would be wiser to leave the first move up to the U.S. The Germans knew something was going to happen, but they didn't know until after the attack. The American government had no idea this was going to happen, and the Germans knew even less. It was always thought to attack Singapore. They never even thought to attack Hawaii, and they never thought an attack on the U.S. would be possible because the military was so huge back then. To quote the general from Germany, no close cooperation existed between Japan, Germany, and Italy prior to the war, and Japan's decision to go to war was made without regard to the attitude of Germany and Italy and dictated purely by the needs of self-defense. Paraphrasing from the article, America's Two-Front Dilemma by Antonio D. Laura Brust, Pearl Harbor meant to draw attention away from Europe. And the day of the attack, Japan called the foreign minister and demanded that Germany declare war on the U.S., and Germany did what they had promised. According to the article, on December 8th, Hitler authorized all Navy to attack all American ships on site. Once December 7th hit, the attack became a reality. On December 7th, 1941, the attack did become a reality. Paraphrasing from the article, Attack on Pearl Harbor Timeline by Britannica, a total of 353 planes were involved in the attack, and it consisted of 67 ships. At 6:10 a.m., the first wave of planes take off from the carriers in Japan. At 6:45 a.m., destroyer USS Ward fires on Japanese subs. Those were the first shots by the United States in World War II. 6:53 a.m., Captain of Ward radios headquarters and says, "We have attacked, fired upon, and dropped depth charges upon submarines operating in defense sea areas. Commandment takes no action, and the commander decides to await the confirm." At 7:02 a.m., U.S. Navy radar operator spots large unidentified formation of aircraft heading towards the island. At 7:20 a.m., Army lieutenant disregards his radar report, and he believes that it indicates a flight of U.S. planes. At 7:40 a.m., first wave of Japanese aircraft reaches the island. At 7:49 a.m., first wave commander ordered attack. 7:55 a.m., coordinated attack begins. 8:10 a.m., USS Arizona explodes and sinks. At 8:17 a.m., destroyer USS Helm fires and sinks Japanese subs. 8:54 a.m., second wave of Japanese planes, nearly numbering 170 planes, begins the attack. 9:30 a.m., destroyer USS Shaw exploded in dry dock. 10 a.m., Japanese planes head back to the carriers. Those were the exact times of all what happened that day. After the attack occurred, the U.S. became a strong united front and prepared themselves for war. Paraphrasing from the article, Remembering Pearl Harbor by Larry Wilkes, Pearl Harbor was woefully unprepared that day, and the sneak attack led to an outrage. For Japan, the attack was successful short term, but it was not long term. The United States froze Japan's assets, so we stopped trading with them and declared an oil embargo. To quote Larry Wilkes, "Our country has successfully navigated through tough times and we will again. We should remember that the things that unite us far exceed the few things that divide us as people. Let us remember to use our extraordinary collective wisdom as people to continue to work together to solve our problems for the public good. I am proud to be an American, and I know you are too." Paraphrasing from the article, "Preservation at Pearl Harbor" by Larry Murphy, the USS Arizona sunk at its mooring during the Japanese attack with the loss of 1,177 sailors and Marines. 1,100 men are entombed within the wreck, and the hulk is a symbol of the attack before and it was before and after World War II. A memorial building spanning the wreck was completed in 1962, and it commemorates the attack, according to the article. In this tragedy, it is our right to honor the lives that were lost and the brave soldiers that saved us that day. Paraphrasing from the article, Pearl Harbor Survivor, intern on sunken USS Arizona by Jennifer McDermott. A veteran dies at 94 and reunites with fallen shipmates of the USS Arizona. Raymond Harry was 19 years old when bombs started falling on Pearl Harbor, and he never wanted to go back because of all the trauma he gained. He wanted to be laid to rest in the USS Arizona with his shipmates, and his granddaughter, Jessica Marino, gave the urn to divers who placed it within the ship's sunken hull. There are hundreds of sailors and Marines who are still entombed in that wreck to this day. He is the 42nd survivor to rejoin, according to National Park Service. Marino says, "I know this part of his life that really did shape him. To be part of getting him back to his ship with his shipmates, it's an honor for me." His son said that he swam through flaming waters, he shot at Japanese planes from shore, and later he helped retrieve corpses from the harbor. That brotherhood doesn't go away, and as he got closer to the end of his life, it resonated with him. He didn't want to see the sight or relive the attack, but he wanted to relive the camaraderie, said Marino, his granddaughter. He died a hero and wanted to be with his sunken crewmates, even if that was forever. The sunken crewmates and Marines should be remembered for all the lives they saved that day, and they are still talked about to this day. Today in my informative speech, I have summarized the attack on Pearl Harbor. Always be ready for anything, because when Japan attacked, the U.S. was not prepared. I'm Ava B, and thank you for listening to my speech.